Hello, and welcome to OTV. It's Wellness Wednesday, and for Wellness Wednesday, I have a little bit of an unusual topic. My last video was about the moss and the hose, and I do believe that I mentioned that Love Hubby slipped on the moss, which then, after that, he became invested in finding someone to help us out with our moss troubles on our driveway. Well, we did, and it began a saga that hopefully will soon be over. It started out with me trying to find someone who could help us with this problem and exactly what the problem entailed, because if you recall, just pulling up the moss would pull up the asphalt and destroy the driveway. So I talked to different people, learned a lot about moss removal from the driveway, and found someone who had the equipment and the experience to do the job. I won't get into the details here, but you need a certain type of truck and you need a certain type of a capacity truck to do this job, and a certain type of pressure washer to remove the moss, but not the driveway. In the meantime, note that I am not writing, I am not creating art, I am not doing many of the things that I like to do. Instead, I'm meeting with people for estimates who do not show up, and then people who do show up but come in the dark when it's really hard to do an estimate. So then they have to come back the next day. And then they say they're going to come the next day, but they don't. Then they say they're going to come the day after that, but it snows. And then they come anyway, but it's the end of the day, and they try working in the dark. And then they come the next day, and then they say they're going to finish up, but they don't. And meanwhile, they're blocking the driveway, big, long, eighth of a mile driveway, and everybody coming in and coming out. It's a big, huge production with all the equipment, moving everything out each time, the UPS truck comes, or I have to get out, or anything like that. It's big production. Okay, so what could all of this possibly have to do with Wellness Wednesday, you ask? And rightly so. Rightly, you should ask. Well, there's one more thing. I live in this house, as you know, with windows and no curtains, which is great because it looks out on the forest, but it is a bit awkward when there are people outside, workers, trying to get your attention and coming up and turning on the water and looking in and asking you questions, and it interferes with me being able to work, and it also triggers something that I have psychologically, kind of a psychological condition that I have. And I know this is really weird, but I have this thing about people, about being in my home and having people look through the windows at me to try to get my attention. I just have this thing about it. And I lived in another house where this was a problem. And now I'm in this house, and I can tell you it makes me so kind of hypervigilant and jumpy, and I feel like I'm being watched. Of course, a lot of times I am being watched because they're trying to figure out where I am to get my attention, because maybe I'm not answering my cell phone because maybe I'm trying to work or do something or talk on the phone. Anyway, so I have this thing about people being at my windows and looking in. So on Tuesday morning, I had this huge, major panic attack. And I haven't had a panic attack in years, literally years. And in the past, when I would have them, they'd only be in certain circumstances, situations that were kind of unusual, so they weren't a major part of my life. Well, anyway, so here I am having this super panic attack. And I have medication for it, which I did not take because I'm doing this whole being present thing. And I decided to be present and be with my feelings and to ride it out. And it lasted quite a long time. And during the whole time, I was I didn't have enough presence of mind to be able to control my breathing at all. But I just kept going. And I managed to get dressed, I managed to do my hair, and I managed to get out of the house. And once I was out of the house, everything started to slow down. It was really hard to drive. But I was so proud of myself for being with the feelings, and it was really I realized a lot of things about my life during that time that I hadn't been conscious of, like that I hadn't been getting enough sleep, basic things like that, that I had been working too hard, that I'd been pushing myself, that I needed to, no matter what my other obligations were, I needed to devote some time to my writing and get back to my writing, because that's what brings me joy. I have to get back to exercising, even if I can't do it on the driveway, which soon I should be able to do it on the driveway once these guys finish. They worked all day yesterday. They were supposed to finish yesterday. They worked all day today. It's dark outside. They're still there working still. But I just feel better today. As terrifying as it was, I knew that I wasn't going to die, even though I felt like it. And I knew that I could keep breathing, and I knew that I could get through it. So the process that I was doing, the process that I have been doing of learning to be present with my feelings and learning to just be aware and to be conscious was very helpful for this. And as I'm going to rest up for a few days too, and take really good care of myself here. But I wanted to share that with you. It's a good theme for Wellness Wednesday, and I hope it will be of encouragement to you.